So I'm making this video regarding for the Fairview Co-op project, which I'm very grateful to have. I'm really grateful that you guys chose me. My understanding is I was the best price, but also I think that we're the best quality, and I think we're working hard to do a proper install. The previous install that you guys had, I don't know if it was 22 years ago or however old those windows are, had no insulation at all around the windows. So you have a lot of windows. I'm already only on the first unit, and I'm hearing a lot about water getting in through the windows. Air was just flying through the windows. Hopefully the install that we're doing is going to cut away from any leaking that you're having now. It's also going to make sure that the air infiltration is way down and that the window can operate the way that it's supposed to. Now, that's just on the installation side. On the quality of the window side, for any of you that see the sticker, it's a 0.19 U factor, which is, when I got into Windows in 2009, that was pretty much unheard of. It's such good technology, super efficient. It's really going to cut down on bills. It's really going to cut down on sound getting in and out of the homes that you're living in here. Sound transmission, excuse me, that word evaded me for a second here. So these windows and this install is going to be great for everybody. The other one was really subpar, and we're taking care of all that. Now, it's my understanding that there is a concern about the style of window. Early in the process, the price was kind of brought up to me as a big concern. I know that efficiency and leaking water was kind of the #1 thing I was hearing, but price was also pretty big. I know they cut off, originally they wanted to do the patio doors as well, but then when we cut those off, it was my understanding that maybe the contract would have to even be put on hold if we couldn't figure out a way to make it affordable. So early on, I was presenting a possibility of an idea of getting us a lesser window, or downgrading to a double slider in the front as opposed to a true picture window, which is what we have now. And the reason that I was presenting that as a possibility would be to reduce the cost of the front window. Now, being about just under 6 feet wide, as a double slider, those would be pretty kind of tough to operate for some people. I mean, I'm a pretty big guy, so for me, they're not too bad. But I do understand that there would be complaints. I've been doing this for a long time. On some of the residents would have a hard time closing them because it's such a heavy window. They're already triple pane, so they're already heavier than normal. And for being that wide, which is it's about as wide as they make them, to be honest with you, it would be a little bit tough to operate. So I fought really hard with the supply house to try to get our prices down, to get a true picture window in there for the price that you guys could afford. And that's what I did. So I think, I'm not sure exactly what the other prices are, but I think I'm quite a bit shy of the next one under me. And part of that is because I fought really hard with the supply house to get the prices down on these quotes. Since it was such a big order, I was able to get some good movement from them. Now, that being said, the window that we're installing there now is a 0.19 U factor, so it's incredibly efficient. You're getting insulation around each unit. You are getting actually we're removing the siding so we can actually flash it and seal it completely around, all the way around. So we're really doing a complete proper install to make sure that these windows are great, but also that the install is great and that you're not having any more of that water damage that I'm actually kind of seeing around a lot of the windows, to be honest with you. So I apologize for the mix up there. I did mention that there was a couple different options and a way to cut money there. What we're doing now is definitely the premium option. It's what you would want ideally for a front window, and it is what the contract reflects as well. So it is what the paperwork says. I do remember speaking specifically to a couple very sweet ladies that were right by the office outside. I remember talking to them specifically about the other option as a possibility. So I think that's probably what gave life to the other option as opposed to the one that we did have in writing. But either way, what you're getting is the right thing for the job. It's going to be a lot easier to operate, and it's more expensive and more desirable. But not more expensive for you, by the way. I fought to get the prices down on the window, but as far as standard pricing, it's a better product. So hopefully everyone can get on the same page there. Again, apologize for the mix-up. A couple other things I wanted to touch on, though, is I want to make sure that people are moving any loose items away from the windows. There is pounding to remove the siding and reapply the siding, to remove the window, install a window. And that pounding, if there's anything loose that's not pounded tight to the wall, or if it's leaning against the wall, it can cause pictures and things to fall over. So I want everyone to be careful about that. I think I've already heard some movement from items inside of a apartment. I don't know if anything fell of worth. As far as I know, it hasn't, but I've definitely heard a little bit of loose things clanging on the walls. So just be careful. Make sure the picture's on there really good. If it's on there really good, you should be fine. And one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about is the interior trim. Now, previous to us, they just grabbed a piece of Cove trim and threw it around the whole window. So what I am doing is I do have to take that off to remove the window and install something a little bit nicer, but it is primed. So there's gonna have to be a little bit of painting that goes on around it. And also I'm having to use a little bit wider than maybe I would on some projects, because some of the drywall there is actually damaged and peeling because there was moisture damage from the old windows not being installed properly and not being good quality windows. So I'm kind of seeing that drywall damage around almost every window, to be honest with you. And so we are using a little bit wider of a piece of trim. It looks beautiful, but it's only primed, so it will have to be painted at some point. It looks good enough to where you probably don't have to paint it right away, but that is something to be aware of and maybe put on your to-do list for the next year or so. Thank you everybody for going with us. Hope the guys are really polite. Everyone has been really nice. It's good to meet everybody so far, and I know we're just getting started, so there's a lot more. I know we got a couple Marys, I think 3 Marys so far. There's a lot of Marys, and I have a daughter named Mary. I'm a girl dad. So anyway, yeah, if there's any other concerns, questions, or anything, please let me know. Again, appreciate everybody, and have a good, I think you're watching this at night, so have a good night.